Welcome to the English Teacher Podcast.
It's great to be here.
Today, we are tackling a situation that I have to admit, it makes my palms sweat a little bit just thinking about it.
Oh, I know exactly where you're going with this one.
You know that feeling, right? You
Mhm.
buy something, you get it home, you take it out of the box with all this excitement, and it's a complete disaster. It's
Mhm.
broken, or it's the wrong size, or, heaven forbid, you look in the mirror and realize it is just ugly.
The dreaded return.
Exactly, the return. Now, if you have to do this in your native language, it's just, it's annoying, it's a chore.
Right.
But if you have to do this in a second language, it can be genuinely terrifying.
It's incredibly high stakes.
Yeah.
I mean, you're juggling financial stress because you want your money back.
Yeah.
You're navigating social norms because you don't want to come across as rude.
Yeah.
And you're dealing with a confrontation all at once.
So, here is our mission for today's deep dive. We are taking a stack of resources. We've got more dialogues for everyday use, situational English, and a collection of English short stories for intermediate learners.
A great mix.
And we are going to decode the secret language of the refund. We want to get you to a place where you can walk up to that counter, speak clearly, and get your money back without a panic attack.
And without accidentally insulting the store clerk, which is, believe me, it's easier to do than you might think.
That too. So, looking at these sources, there seems to be this real tension between what we want to say, which is usually, give me my money,
Yeah, pretty much.
and what we should say.
That's the core of it, really. We have situational English, which gives us the nuts and bolts, the mechanics of the transaction. But then we have more dialogues, which focuses on natural American speech, and that introduces all these layers of politeness that can be really confusing.
And then, of course, we have the cautionary tales from the short stories.
Yes.
Speaking of cautionary tales, we have to talk about Gilbert.
Oh, poor Gilbert.
For everyone listening, Gilbert is a character from that intermediate learners collection. And honestly, Gilbert is our anti-hero today.
He is.
He is exactly what we are trying to avoid becoming.
Right. Gilbert sees a pair of shoes. He likes them. He buys them on impulse. But, and this is so key, he completely ignores the context of the sale.
The salesperson tells him, flat out, sorry, they come as they are, no guarantees, and Gilbert buys them anyway.
And, of course, they hurt his feet. He's limping home. His wife is just shaking her head at him. He's stuck with them.
He failed the transaction before it even started.
Because he didn't understand the rules of the return.
So to avoid being a Gilbert, we are going to start right in the deep end. We're going to act out a successful return scenario.
Okay.
I want you to hear what good sounds like before we start breaking it all apart.
Let's do it.
I'm going to be the unhappy customer. You are going to be the store clerk.
A nice store clerk.
Or if it's, say, professional. Not necessarily nice. You have a job to do.
Got it. I can do professional.
Okay, setting the scene. I bought a watch last week. It's broken. I'm walking up to the counter. I'm a little nervous. So pay close attention to the specific words we use here. Action.
Hi there. Do you need any help?
Excuse me. I bought this watch here last week, and there's something wrong with it.
Oh. What's the problem?
It doesn't work. The hands don't move.
I see. Do you want to try a fresh battery?
No, I'd like a refund, please.
Do you have the receipt?
Yes. Here's the receipt.
Well, could I change it for a different one? We have this other model available.
No, I think I'll leave it. Thanks anyway.
All right. I'll process that for you.
And the scene. Okay. Even just reading that script, I felt a little bit of that, that social pressure.
It's real. English for Life, another one of our sources actually mentions this. It says role plays can be frustrating because you feel like you're performing without a safety net.
Right.
But that little script we just did, that is the safety net.
Let's unpack it, because there was a battle of wills happening there that might not be obvious on the surface.
Absolutely. The first major clash was between what you asked for and what I offered you.
Right.
You asked for a refund.
A refund.
And in situational English, Unit 6, they are very, very specific about this definition. A refund means the money travels back to you, cash in hand, or
back on the card.
Or credit back on the card. It reverses the transaction entirely.
But you, being the crafty store clerk, you tried to pivot. You offered to change it.
Exactly. I asked, could I change it for a different one? This is the exchange.
And I feel like this is where so many learners get tripped up. They think return just means take it back. But return is actually kind of vague.
It is vague. If you walk in and say, I want to return this, the clerk just hears, I have a problem.
Okay.
The clerk's goal, their incentive, is to keep the money in the store. So they will almost always push for an exchange first. Here, take this other one, or How about a store credit?
So if I want my cash back, I can't be vague. I have to use the magic word.
Refund.
Refund.
Correct. You have to specify the outcome you want. If you leave it open to interpretation, the clerk is going to interpret it in the store's favor.
Now, to get that refund, I had to produce the golden ticket, the receipt.
The most important piece of paper in your life at that exact moment.
And a quick pronunciation check here because this drives me crazy. It looks like receipt.
It does. But that P is totally silent. It's just receipt.
Receipt, like taking a seat.
Exactly. Receipt. It is the proof of purchase. Without it, you are essentially asking for a favor, not a transaction.
This goes right back to our friend Gilbert and his shoes.
It does. In the story New Shoes, we don't know for sure if he lost the receipt, but we do know the terms of the sale were no guarantees.
Right.
If the receipt says final sale or no returns, the paper is worthless. But usually, it's the lack of a receipt that's the first hurdle.
Situational English calls this the documentation requirement. Without the receipt, the conversation just stops dead. The manager might come over and say, I'm sorry, I can't help you, and they are technically within their rights.
And that's a power dynamic issue. With the receipt, you have rights. Without it, you're at their mercy. You're relying on their kindness, which is not a good strategy.
Okay, so rule number 1, keep the receipt.
Always.
Rule number 2, know the difference between a refund and an exchange. But let's talk about the way we talk, because this is where the cultural stuff gets really interesting.
The softening of language.
Right. In my head, if I bought a watch and it's broken, I'm annoyed. I want to march in there and say, this is trash. Give me my money.
Please don't do that.
But why not? I'm the victim here.
You are, technically. But in American English, and really in most Anglophone cultures, that kind of directness in a conflict, it's seen as aggression. If you are too direct, you trigger the clerk's defense mechanisms.
So we have to wrap our demand in bubble wrap.
Exactly. Look at how you started our role play. You didn't just launch into the complaint. You said, excuse me.
Excuse me, it seems so basic.
It is basic, but it's doing some heavy lifting. It's a signal phrase. It effectively says, I am about to interrupt your day, and it might be for something serious, so please pay attention.
It sets a polite stage.
It does. It transitions the clerk from stocking shelves mode to customer service mode.
And then came the grammar point that I think is the most critical takeaway from this entire stack of sources. I didn't say, I want a refund.
No, you said, I'd like a refund.
I'd like.
Short for, I would like. Situational English has a specific note on this in Unit 6 about avoiding aggression. Saying, I want, sounds, well, how does it sound to you?
It sounds like a toddler. I want a cookie. Or, I don't know, maybe a bank robber. I want the money.
Exactly. It's demanding, and it's emotional. I'd like is professional. It separates you from the emotion of the situation. It frames it as a preference, not a demand, even though it is a demand.
It's weird, isn't it? We use softer language to be more firm.
That's a great way to put it. It's a paradox. By being polite, you signal that you are reasonable and in control.
And a reasonable person is harder to say no to.
Much harder than a screaming person. A screaming person can be dismissed as crazy. A polite person with a receipt, they must be dealt with.
Speaking of saying no, let's look at the clerk's language. In more dialogues for everyday use, there's a scene at a hotel where the clerk has to deliver bad news. And they use this phrase, I'm afraid.
I'm afraid I can't do that, or I'm afraid that item is out of stock.
Now, for our listeners who might take things literally, the clerk is not actually frightened, are they? They aren't trembling behind the counter?
No, there's no fear involved. It is a linguistic formula. It basically means I am about to tell you something you do not want to hear, and I am apologizing in advance.
It just softens the blow of the word no.
Precisely. If you just said, no, we can't do that, it sounds harsh. I'm afraid we can't do that. It sounds empathetic. It creates a sense that the clerk wants to help you, but the system won't let them.
So if you hear, I'm afraid, you should brace yourself. Bad news is coming.
Every single time.
Let's shift gears a little bit and look at the cultural context here. We're focusing on American English today. Is there a specific American style to this whole interaction?
There is, yeah. More Dialogues talks about the tone being natural and colloquial. In the U.S., there's a very strong expectation of customer service. You know the cliché phrase, right?
The customer's always right.
Exactly. Now, is the customer actually always right? No. Usually they're wrong. But the sentiment is real. The expectation is that the business exists to serve you.
Meaning I shouldn't be afraid to ask for a refund.
Correct. In some cultures, returning an item is seen as like an insult to the shopkeeper's honor. Like you're saying, oh, my product isn't good enough for you.
Right.
But in the U.S., it's just business. It's a transaction. You expect the problem to be solved.
But there are traps. We talked about Gilbert.
The traps usually lie in the type of sale. We need to talk about on special versus on sale.
More dialogues. Dialogue 29 brings this up. The clerk says they're on special this week.
On special usually implies a temporary price reduction, a promotion. And usually, the normal return rules apply here. You can still return it if it breaks.
But on sale or clearance?
That's the danger zone. As we saw in the new shoes story, items bought on sale often have stricter return policies. If you see a sign that says final sale, that means exactly what it says.
You own it.
You own it. Broken, ugly, wrong size. It's yours now.
So before you buy or before you try to return, you have to check if it was a final sale item. That explains why poor Gilbert was stuck with his shoes.
He bought them under a no guarantee policy. He didn't read the fine print. And in America, the fine print matters. A lot.
Okay, back to the role play for a second. There was a moment at the end where I had to make a decision. You offered me the exchange and I turned you down. I said, no, I think I'll leave it.
I love that phrase. I think I'll leave it.
It sounds so incredibly casual.
It is. It's a very polite way of saying no. It signals that you are deciding not to buy something, or in this case, not to accept the alternative you were just offered.
It's much better than just saying, no, I don't want that.
Or that's not good enough.
Yeah, I think I'll leave it. Implies that you've considered the offer, you've thought about it, and you've decided to walk away.
It allows everyone to save face.
It treats the exchange as a choice, not a conflict.
There is another phrase in Situational English Unit 6 for when you first walk into a store and the clerk attacks you with, "Can I help you?"
Ah, the universal shield. I'm just looking.
I use that one all the time, even if I am looking for something specific.
It effectively says, I do not require assistance right now. Please let me browse in peace. But in 3 polite words, it's vital armor for shopping in America.
It sets the boundary immediately.
It does. Let's get into the specifics of the problem. In our role play, I said the watch doesn't work. That's easy. But what if I'm returning a shirt or a toaster? We need to give our listeners some variations.
Let's run through a few common complaints that we found in our sources.
Okay, scenario 1. I bought a shirt, I tried it on at home, and I look like a sausage in a casing. It's incredibly tight.
You would say, it's too small.
Or if I'm swimming in it, like a tent.
It's too big.
Now, I want to pause here on the grammar. Why too big and not very big?
This is a classic mistake I hear all the time. Very is just an intensifier. It's a neutral description. That building is very big. The sky is very blue.
So if I say, this shirt is very big, the clerk might just agree with me.
Right. They might say, yes, it is a lovely oversized style. It's very fashionable. Congratulations on your big shirt.
But too implies a problem.
Too suggests a negative excess. It means more than is desired or possible. It is too big means it is so big that I cannot wear it.
Oh.
It signals that the function of the item is compromised.
That is such a crucial distinction. Very describes, too complains.
Exactly. If you want a solution, use too.
Okay, scenario 2. I bought a jacket for hiking, but I went out in the rain and got soaked.
Situational English gives us the phrase, it's not waterproof.
Or maybe the sleeves are too long?
Again, using too to indicate the fit is wrong.
I think we should also mention when something is just wrong, like not broken, but just the wrong item.
You mean like if you bought the wrong color?
Yeah, or I bought a phone case and it doesn't fit my phone model.
In that case, you can simply say, it's the wrong size, or it doesn't fit. But be careful. If there's nothing wrong with the item itself and you just made a mistake.
Then the store is kind of doing you a favor.
They are. That's when you really need to use your polite voice. I'd like to return this. It was a mistake. Honesty helps.
So we've covered the vocabulary refund versus exchange. We've covered the grammar of politeness I'd like versus I want. And we've covered the cultural expectations, softening the blow.
We have.
But I want to zoom out for a second. If you are listening to this and you are standing outside a store in New York or LA, holding a bag with a broken item in it, taking a deep breath, what is the mindset you need to have?
You need to remember that this is a routine interaction for the clerk. They aren't judging you. They just need to follow a process.
So let's recap our golden rules to help them get through that process.
Rule number 1, always bring the receipt. Without it, you have no power. You are just a person with a broken watch.
Rule number 2, Use polite language to disarm the situation. I'd like instead of I want. Start with, excuse me.
And rule number 3, be precise. Know the difference between a refund money back and an exchange, which is just swapping the item.
If you want your money, say the word refund.
You have to.
And rule number 4, don't be like Gilbert.
Never be like Gilbert.
Check the policy before you buy. If it's final sale, make sure you really, really love it.
That brings me to a final thought for you to take away. We looked at 2 stories today in the background. The Neighbor, where characters are buying vegetables.
Right.
And New Shoes, where they're buying clothes.
Perishable versus non-perishable.
I want you to think about consumer rights in that context. Notice how return policies change depending on what you are buying. You can't usually return a tomato you've taken a bite of.
I certainly hope not.
But you can return a shirt you've tried on. As you shop in English, pay attention to these categories. The language changes based on the product.
Yeah.
Satisfaction guaranteed usually applies to durable goods, not lunch.
That is a great point. The rules of the game change depending on the aisle you're in.
Exactly.
Well, that's it for this deep dive. We hope you feel a little more confident to go out there and get your refunds.
Practice that dialogue in front of a mirror.
Yeah.
I'd like a refund, please. It gets easier every time you say it.
Absolutely. Good luck out there. Class dismissed.